Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. Good morning, everyone. My name is Brad Walsh, host of your podcast, Empowerography. Today, my guest is Emily O'Brien, keynote speaker, entrepreneur, consultant, and convict. Emily, good morning. How are you this morning?
I am great. Coffee in hand.
So you're all set then. You're off to the races.
I'm all set. Yes.
How was your evening last night?
It was great. I did some baking.
Yeah.
Listened to music. Some nice electro at 12:30 in the morning. But music taste is like a cornucopia. It's really on whatever mood I'm in that day. So
right.
That hour. So
yeah. And what kind of music do you like to listen to?
Anything that makes me smile.
All right.
Honestly, anything. Like you could find me at a tailgate party. You could find me at a dubstep rave. You could find me at a jazz concert. You could find me at a 90s party, like literally anything. Just not really into like the screamy metal.
Yeah.
But I do some metal as well, but just not the screamy one because
very diverse taste. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's good to have diverse tastes.
100%. Yeah.
So you have quite the story. You're an entrepreneur or a keynote speaker. So I imagine you go around and give speeches about your life and your experiences and what you've been through. You're a consultant and you're an ex-con. Would you mind sharing a bit of your journey with us today?
Of course. So when everyone grows up, they never plan on really going to prison, I would say.
No.
And growing up, I was raised, my situation checked all the boxes and not to go to prison, right? It was like a good family, loving home. I had a good education. I got good grades. I went to university. I graduated with honors. The one thing that kind of skewed my journey and I ended up incarcerated was my substance use.
Okay.
And in the beginning, I used substances like pretty much any other high schooler, and that was to find a group that accepted me, take the ease out of social interactions, and feel good, right? Yeah. And over the years, I began to use alcohol not just to feel good when I was already feeling good, but sometimes I would use it to feel good when I was feeling bad. And when you use substances to celebrate, it's manageable, but when you use it to medicate, it can really throw you off. And so after about 10 to 12 years of rather frequent alcohol and substance use, I didn't use cocaine until my early 20s, really.
Uh-huh.
When you're on a university budget,
yeah.
Can't really do it. But I began to use a lot of cocaine in my 20s, and then when there's like an issue in our family, and I just was feeling like I didn't know what I wanted in life, so I just decided to party, and then I would figure it out, and ended up kind of meeting someone who didn't have the best intentions for me in the situation that I was in, and I fell in love with them, or so I thought, but really it's kind of just the substances, and ended up going on a trip with this person who then told me that on our way home we had to actually bring drugs back over the border.
Oh.
And I know I'm like, this isn't just another typical drug mule story, because when you read about the drug mule stories in the news, you only read about the amount. You don't really read about the how and the why and the what's next.
Right.
And I was determined to change my narrative of what's next and to share the narrative of what actually happened before, because we all read about these stories and we can watch all the border security episodes we want.
Yeah.
And I was one of those people that was just fascinated with crime, not because I wanted to commit one and get away with it, but because I was just, that was just
to read about.
Yeah. Yeah. And so when I got arrested for bringing drugs over the border, spent 2 years on house arrest going through the court system, and then sent to prison, it was a really big eye-opener. Lots of sadness, but also I eventually decided to kind of make some social good out of the situation. And that was to create a social enterprise where I could employ the formerly incarcerated with a new business. And that new business was popcorn. So started a business in prison with what I had.
That's pretty awesome.
And so we've been in business for just about a year and a half, full time, not even a year. And we're already on second phase of growth. So
that's amazing. Good for you.
Thank you.
I would imagine that a lot of people, while incarcerated, they don't make good use of the time that they have. I mean, I'm sure a lot of them do, but I'm sure a lot of them don't as well.
Yeah, and you know what? It's because I made a good use of my time because I knew what was coming next. I knew that I had the resources and the support. And the problem with the system is that they punish you worse if you have less resources. So, for example, if you don't have a good family to go to, or if you grew up in a house of abuse, well, it's going to be a lot more difficult for them to let you out, and they're not going to be as trusting because, you know, you don't have this system in place, when really that was something that I couldn't control. It was something that I was blessed with, and I was very, very lucky to have. A lot of people don't know how to change their behavior because that's how they were raised, or that's how they survived. A lot of the time going to prison, why people go to prison was because of survival. And so my story was very different. So that's kind of why, that's part of the narrative that I tie into this story, is that prison is not the same for everyone, and you can't just go in and make a good use of it. A lot of people have the best intentions. They really do, especially women. Because the majority of women have children and they want to see their kids again.
Of course.
But it just depends, like, how much help you have in breaking the cycle. And you also need regular people in society who don't know you that are willing to give you a chance. And that's also something that I advocate for.
That's got to be tough too, because I would think from what I've seen and read, there's always a pretty bad stigma attached to having been incarcerated, and it's tough to get second chances from people, right?
Mm-hmm. Especially from strangers. It's a lot easier to forgive people you know.
Right.
Like, we're more likely to be like, oh my God, my friend got locked up. Like, I can't wait till they're out. Like how did that happen? As opposed to like, well, screw this asshole who broke the law. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, you can swear. It's fine.
Like, that's how people are like, if you opened that jail cell door and it was your mom in there, or it was your sister, you'd find a way to forgive, and you'd immediately want them out. Right. But because there's this like distance from, like, most people that are in there, we don't know, and we think we have no connection to. We think they broke the law and they deserve to be in there. And
right.
So
would you say then that having been incarcerated, I guess it's safe to say that it has completely changed your view of people that are incarcerated?
Yeah, 100%. Because I was one of those people that was like, oh, girls like me don't go to prison.
Yeah.
I even had, some people in my friendship circle that were like, you know what, like, you don't deserve to be there. Like, how could you end up in there, and like all this stuff? And I was like, no, but I did the crime. Like, I do belong there.
Yeah.
At least for this. So
you just owned it. Were you in denial at all at first, or did you just own this all the way through? You always thought that, you know what, I did the crime, so I got to do the time.
I definitely lived in denial.
Right.
Because that was part of the relationship that I was in. Part of the reason why I was on that trip was for reasons that I thought were not nefarious. And so half the reason I was in denial was because I was actually told that nothing was going to go wrong.
Right.
And I didn't know anything about, like, the punishment for this kind of thing. I also realized that I made the decision out of emotional reasons and not because I wanted to deliberately cause harm. And I think that's the main reason why people get confused, or people are so cruel and punishing to people, because they think they deliberately did the crime to cause harm.
Right. And
for a lot of people in prison, it wasn't. It was to go home, or to be home, or it happened at home. Again, there's different levels of crime. So I'm
Yeah,
not making blanket statements here, but yeah.
Wow. Quite the story. Well, speaking of your story, I did some reading about it. And I also read that it seems as though you've always had this entrepreneurial bug in you. Where did that come from? Where did it originate? And what was your first business? And how old were you when you started it?
Yeah, like I wish I had, like, I haven't had the entrepreneurial bug in me, but I've had the working bug in me.
Right.
I loved working because I love learning new skills. There's something that I kind of talk about, and it's called emotional profit.
Okay.
And it's money for the soul. And that's when you develop such a big roster of skills and, I don't know, just experiences that you feel good about the work that you do, and you feel like you can go into anything. If you learn how to learn, it's a great skill. So I would just, like, even when I was young, I would be like, okay, I'm going to do this, and just try anything new. And eventually trying something new was like trying also not working for someone else.
Yeah.
And just going my own route, because over the years I started to become more rebellious, and whether that was rebelling against, I don't know, a certain thing that I didn't like about where I was working, or a certain thing I didn't like about where I was living, I would always just pick up and go. So that I was very not shy. I was not shy about taking risks. And so eventually I met a lot of people that had kind of done the same. My first really significant relationship was with someone who was really successful, and I loved everything about it. I loved the uncertainty about it, because certainty to me was honestly boring.
Yeah.
I liked the unknown.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had alluded earlier that you started your business from prison. How did that all come about, and where did the idea for it come from?
When I went to prison, I knew that I was going to create something. I was going to create a bunch of things. I was going to make this time matter, but I didn't really know how. And honestly, food was not really my thing. You know, I had an eating disorder for 10 years. And so when I came up with this idea, and which I found inspiration behind bars to start popcorn, I was kind of like surprised at myself. But it also tied into my experience with food, because I wanted a healthier snack to eat when I was in there so that I wouldn't go back to my old habits. Like,
right.
I had a concurrent disorder. So it was like, it started with eating. Like, I didn't start drinking at age 13, right? It started kind of with the relationships to food, which then led to coping or trying to like eat less alcohol, combined with like the social anxieties. So that's why I drank. And so I was like, I want to create a product that I can feel comfortable about eating, and that tastes good, that's still really good, that you can use as a way to connect with others who are going through a similar situation, and where you can also be creative. So it kind of checked all those boxes. And the last kind of box that it checked was the story. Because, you know, anyone can create a popcorn business, and, you know, I was told in the beginning, oh, you don't want to be in the popcorn, it's too competitive. But after doing, you know, these kind of business level market assessments, which I kind of taught myself how to do, and I have a business partner, it was like, okay, there is a space for this, because there's lots of popcorn companies out there, but what popcorn company does more than that? Yeah. And tying into a really important issue of this day and age, which is mass incarceration, and especially the kind of inequalities within the system. Yeah. So it's not about exposing the system. It's just about shedding light on how it works. Like, I don't like to see myself as someone who exposes things, because I think that's an aggressive way to talk about it. I think we want to talk in a realistic way.
Right. So that's your angle. That's what sets you apart. Because, I mean, I find that when people talk about starting a business with their friends or family, or they're always going to have people say, well, there's so much competition. Why are you going to do that? And that's not a good idea. All the naysayers come out and, well, there's so much competition. And it's just, you got to rise above it and just do it, I think. I mean, yes, you got to do your research, of course, but I think if we let the noise in all the time, well, we'd never do anything.
Yeah, exactly. And you also, like for me, I also chose popcorn because I knew it was relatively inexpensive to start.
Right.
I'm not talking about to distribute, because that's a whole other book. But like to start, I used what I had in there, and I knew that popcorn was like a really inexpensive thing to purchase.
Yeah.
So you can take something that's so simple that people are already used to, that people are comfortable with. Like, it's not like I was introducing a whole new thing. Like, here's some rectangle popcorn. Like, you know what I mean? Something that people aren't familiar with.
You're not reinventing the popcorn wheel.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Yeah, exactly. And you're tying it into an issue that's very topical. So I think me being in there was important because I knew that I was going to use that experience in a public way, and my family would support me, whereas a lot of people wouldn't want to do that. Like, they want to share their story, but their family is like, no, we don't want you in the newspaper, or they're less confident about being able to get a job if they share their story publicly, and they don't want to be on the internet forever. But I was like, this is like a part of me, and I feel more empowered after it. And so
absolutely,
I can't just take 5 years of my life and pretend like it didn't happen. Like that's
that'd be cutting out a big chunk of your life. You can't deny who you are. It's part of what made you who you are.
Yeah, exactly. And taking risks, good or bad, is just in my blood. So I might as well take a good one.
Yeah, exactly. So I also understand that you got inspiration for some of the flavors for your popcorn from other inmates and things while you were in prison. Is that right? Yeah,
the first flavor that I turned into like one that is on the shelves today is one called lemon pepper and dill. And that was because in federal prison, in women's specifically, we have access to a budget of like a list of items basically that we can choose from every week. Because they want to promote healthy cooking. Like, there's no junk food. It's like all food that's on Canada's food guide. And so there was like a list of spices on there, and one of them was lemon pepper and one of them was dill. And we were having a Super Bowl gathering, and so one of the girls put lemon pepper and dill on it, and it was so good. It wasn't buttery.
Yeah.
Like, there was a lot of people cooking like chicken wings and all this and chips, and I was like, I don't want to eat that. You know, I don't want to put myself in a space where it's like I don't feel well. So I tried the lemon pepper dill, and it was so good. And I was like, this is amazing. I was like, why is there no? And then I kind of began to think, like, without even doing any research.
Yeah.
As someone who loves snacks, I was like, why isn't there any popcorn companies that are out there that promote healthier flavors and healthier varieties? So that's kind of when I got the idea. And from then on, I just hunkered down and started experimenting with more recipes. And to this day, like, we have like 4 or 5 flavors that are really healthy for you. And then obviously the classic flavors as well too, because people love
of course. How many flavors do you currently have, Emily?
So currently we have 9. We have 4 really healthy ones, 3 classic ones, and 2 rotating caramel flavors.
Oh, nice.
And then we have seasoned stuff, but it's staying put for now because there's not really any season. Well,
how did you come up with the name?
It's called Comeback Snack.
Oh, it's called Comeback. Okay.
But this is interesting because it can be part of the story, because I wanted to in the initial stages, I wanted to create a name that was like simple, but that stood out. And so I actually asked a bunch of the inmates what names they preferred, and I did a little survey. So I was doing market research, which it's not really market research, but like brand building research, and what kind of name would make the other inmates proud.
Yeah.
And which one they would like. And so initially we decided on Cons and Kernels, and after about a year and a half, this did really, really well. But we kind of wanted to change it to something more positive and like something that didn't reinforce a stereotype.
Right.
Because I know that I can make fun of myself and I can be like, yeah, I committed a crime, and not in an arrogant way, but in a way that's saying like, I have control over the situation and you can't talk shit about me before I talk shit about myself.
Yeah.
So but I wanted also to be able to include everyone in the brand that maybe didn't want to associate prison with being a convict. Maybe they wanted to associate prison with the time that they restarted their life. So it was just more positive. It's also a lot easier to get into doors, and it's a lot easier to talk about a comeback in reference to any situation in life.
Yeah.
And
it's very widespread use, right?
Yeah. Like even right now, we're like, oh my gosh, Canada, world, like the universe is about to make a comeback right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So the same kind of strategies that I employed when I was in prison are really helpful to me right now, because I just changed some of my behaviors and some of the ways that I thought. And I was able to kind of do that while also creating something good.
Yeah. So comeback snacks. Very cool. I like it. It's very catchy. It's like it covers a wide array of things, so you can be used for many situations. It's great.
Yeah.
Do you feel that you started your business while in prison, and obviously that set some limitations to what you could do with the business, or did it, for that matter?
There's obviously limits in everything that we do. Like, mentally, there were no limits.
Right.
Physically, yes. Technologically, yes. But there's always a way to communicate. So you just have to, I use my entrepreneurial spirit here. And one of the things that I kind of talked about that was really eye-opening for me was that I created, I think, one of the best things I've ever created without all this technological rigmarole. I found different ways to create content. I made a meme club with newspaper clippings called Meme Security as a way to
I like it. That's clever.
And I would write down quotes that I heard, and I'd write down different words that I learned around my experience, and I documented people's stories. And so you actually find really cool ways to create and communicate with less. And right. I would also write letters to people that were outside the institution. And this was something that worked with an amazing email open rate. Emails, they don't get opened all the time, but letters from a prison, people are like, wow, someone actually wrote me a letter from a prison. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Someone a letter in your mailbox, it's not a bill. It's like, wow, I'm going to open this.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the art of letter writing has long been gone since the technological age advanced. I'll bet you half the kids in school today couldn't even write a letter if they were asked to.
Yeah, but you're missing personalization when you do that.
Absolutely. So, even in business, like I think adding that personal touch of a handwritten note or a letter or something like that to go along with, or to send out to your clients, it just sends that very, very personal touch that we don't find too often anymore.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah. So I read also you want to hire ex-inmates in your business to give them a starting chance, a new beginning. How do you feel this could be beneficial to both your business as well as the people you hope to employ?
So there's actually three areas where it helps.
Okay.
Of course, the business, because I found that hiring people that need a footing and don't have a million other options and aren't going to try to negotiate with you or try to just look for another job while they're on the site. That's really helpful to us because it creates loyalty. It creates a safe work environment because people can be who they are without having to censor things. Right. And they can talk to themselves freely and they can connect on things and heal together.
Yeah.
People can talk about their past addictions at work. And you can't really do that in a lot of offices now these days, right? So even on you've seen that classic thing on the internet where it's like me at night or me in my personal life versus me on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
That represents a lot of the workforce, and you have to put on this picture perfect image when really we're all humans and we all struggle with things. So by creating a safe and healing work environment as opposed to a almost robotic one, it makes people want to be there. It makes people want to work and feel good about the work that they do. And then thirdly, it helps society because a lot of people are seeing that by not giving former offenders a chance, that's if we're talking about public safety here, which is law enforcement is in place, and they do. I have no problem with lots of law enforcement. A lot of police officers are my friends now.
Yeah.
Public safety is at risk if you don't give people who need jobs.
Yes, absolutely.
people commit crimes is because they don't have a job that appreciates them, or they don't have a job because maybe they don't know how to do an interview, or they don't know how to dress properly, or they have anger issues from their childhood, or so by not telling this but showing this helps encourage other employers to do the same, which helps the workforce and it helps society feel safer and basically more together, because it makes everyone relatable.
So this is a very important issue for you then, providing past inmates with a second chance and helping to employ them, helping the system by giving formerly incarcerated people jobs. Do you think that the tools are there properly and enough for people just coming out of prison to find jobs?
Definitely not with my experience. When I was on day parole, so day parole you get after serving a 1/6 of your sentence, pending you've like behaved yourself inside the institution.
Right.
And again, it's a lot harder to do. It's a lot harder to behave if your family doesn't behave on the outside, or your only family is on the inside.
Yeah.
But when I was on day parole, I lived in a halfway house, and there was no recruiters going in there. There was no job fairs, really. There was just the expectation that you'd go find a minimum wage job or any job. So I think employers need to be more active in seeking out talent, because there is talent. I mean, there are obviously things that you have to know, but that's like with any workplace, right? You need to have like mental health. You need to have, resources for your employees. And honestly, I found that people that have already been to prison know what it takes to get there, and they don't want to go back.
Right.
So they're a lot more careful about what they do, and they try so hard. But again, if there aren't those issues that have been tended to, whether it's like addiction or temper, anything like that, even there's a lot of trauma that is associated with prison. If there aren't healing spaces for that and people that understand, then it makes it difficult.
Yeah. So out of the many hats that you now wear, I mean, like I said before, you're an entrepreneur, you're a consultant, you're a keynote speaker. What gives you the most joy? What do you enjoy doing the most?
I think I would enjoy building things that matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I've had lots of jobs and I liked working, but now that I actually got to build something for myself, and I guess it all ties into acceptance and doing good work. Because we can take all the shortcuts we want and do the shittiest work ever.
Yeah.
It always catches up to us. So when in prison, I actually had the time to build a really significant business and social enterprise. So, and because I'm still on parole, I'm going to be tied to this. I'm going to be tied to this for a very, very long time. This is not something that's just a phase. And a lot of people are like, oh, do you think you're going to be there in 5 years? And it's like, well, yeah, my record's going to be with me for 5 years. So I think as long as I'm going to be challenged with different issues as I get older, whether that's traveling, whether that's working with different groups. I mean, eventually I want to be able to tackle the problem with institutions and why they won't let people with a record from their early teens apply for a nursing program.
Right.
Like that. And the more speaking engagements I do, the more things I find out about. And I'm like, that's so wrong. You're denying people the right to education. Like, we could use nurses right now. And yet I did a talk a couple of months ago, and someone was like, I had an assault charge from when I was 18, and they kicked me out of the program.
Wow. That's crazy.
Crazy. Yeah.
So the system needs advocates like yourself to advocate for rights for ex-cons and things like that. I mean, it's very limiting, I guess. So that still goes back to the whole narrow-minded thought process of people when they think about other people who have been released from prison. Mm-hmm. That stigma is still very prevalent.
Mm-hmm. It's getting better though. For me, I knew that I wasn't the first one to do it. Like, I did a lot of research, and I before I even went in, I began to research organizations and companies that promoted this and that were advocates of this. And now you're even seeing it with people like Kim Kardashian, whether it's, obviously there's some self-serving elements to it, but she is using a lot of her time to promote. She made a whole documentary on it, and she does have influence. Like, we can't deny that she doesn't have influence.
Absolutely.
So I think people like that and important figures have done that. And in prison, I would write letters to the people that had started businesses with a record. And you'll actually find a lot, whether they use it as part of their narrative or not, a lot of people that own really successful businesses have had trouble with the law, or get into trouble with the law as they're building their business. Because it's all taking risks and making mistakes and not knowing everything. A lot of times we break the laws because we don't know everything. Right.
So for you, what's the most exciting part about being an entrepreneur?
Every day is different. To me, I don't like the same thing over and over. Like, I like the similar themes, but I don't like the same schedule.
Yeah.
So sometimes I get in my car and it's 2 p.m. and I go somewhere. Sometimes I get up at 6:30 in the morning and I work out and I have, something like this.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just being able to connect with so many different people in so many different groups. And I think my favorite part about business is, like, some of your best connections come from the unexpected. Some of your best connections and people you work with are unexpected.
Yeah.
So, like, right now, one of my partners in Hamilton, Ontario, is like the Oldsmobile Club of Ontario, and that's like a vintage car club.
Yeah.
Like, you never think that, right? Because a lot of the time you think, people that are a little bit older, they're the most you think people that are older are the ones who don't really want to change their perspective.
Yeah.
They're very set in their ways, but that's completely not true. And so now we're going to do, like, events. Like, when we're allowed, we're going to have events. And, when they do, like, a car parade, I'm going to be there with my popcorn. And
awesome.
So, yeah, it's just very unexpected, but fulfilling connections that happen. So there's no connection that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I think we meet everyone
for a reason. Absolutely. I would agree with that.
For a reason. So,
yeah. What do you think is your unique skill set or superpower that's helped you become successful as an entrepreneur, as a keynote speaker?
I think this all boils down to risk again. So using my risk, I don't have a fear of risk. Like, I'm a lot more cautious now in terms of the law.
Yeah.
Ignorance is not bliss.
Yeah.
One lesson I learned is that ignorance is not bliss. And
so that obliterates that statement.
Yes, 100%.
I'll have to remember that next time I go to say that.
Yeah.
Emily says ignorance is not bliss. What would you say is your biggest or greatest win so far in your life?
Repairing the relationship with my family and overcoming my dependence on alcohol and drugs, not to medicate, but to celebrate.
Right.
Like, for me, ditching alcohol and drugs to medicate was the easier part. But ditching alcohol and drugs just for fun and to, like, be at social gatherings, that was something that I thought I could do, for the rest of my life. And I don't know, maybe one day I'll be able to have a glass of wine, but I don't really think about it like that. I don't think about the one day. I think about the now. It's so important to balance present and future.
Yeah.
But now I'm comfortable with it. Like, even like alcohol I would use for, like, my dating life, like, when's the last time I went on a date and have a couple drinks? Like, I don't know. Like, we don't know how to do it. A lot of people don't know how to do it, right?
Yeah. You go out on a date, you have a drink.
Or like 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hang out with them that night and then you never talk to them again. Or it's like,
yeah. Or you go hang out with your friends and, hey, let's go to the pub and grab a beer or whatever.
Yeah. There is that feeling. Yeah. There is that feeling of longing, of course, when you don't have those friends or you don't see them as often or you see them in different ways, but the benefits of that do not outweigh the costs anymore.
Yeah. I think it's socially intertwined with our lives, right? Alcohol and it's just something that we do. It's like second nature, I guess, kind of thing.
Yep, for sure. And we're also advertised to it all the time.
Yes, absolutely.
That this is okay, that we deserve this. Oh, now you can get beer at your grocery store. So it's also the fault of the government for promoting it, right?
Yeah, you can't escape it.
Yeah.
I read an article about a week and a half ago, about how right now the world has hit the pause button, and never again will we get a chance like this to slow down and think about life and enjoy life for the small things like family and friends. And they said in the article that when we come out the other side of this, pay attention to how hard the advertising companies are going to hit us. It's going to be like a brick wall in the face. You got to get this, and pushing the advertising to almost say, you know what, this never happened. COVID never happened. All these people didn't die. Just spend your money, focus on us, and buy this and buy that. And the article was alluding to the fact that we need to take stock of things of our lives now while this is happening, because we probably will never, ever get another chance like this where the entire world is stopped. Everybody, not just Canada or not just the United States, but the entire world, and take advantage of this to make those little changes in your life. You don't need the newest iPhone. You don't need the newest Acura car. You know what I mean? Just take stock, and if we all do a little bit or do our part in that battle against advertising and that constant barrage of you need to have this and you need to have that, then maybe that will trickle down and domino effect, and life can be a lot simpler than we don't have to go back to that life.
Mm-hmm.
Basically what it was saying. I thought it was very interesting.
Yeah. And just to play devil's advocate on that, I think it's also fair to still like be okay with buying things that bring you joy. Like if you're a photographer and you really want that new camera, like I can see it as if it's something that like you want to learn how to use. Again, or if you want to buy like a different kind of car and you want to drive a standard car or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like driving really brings me joy, and I spend a lot of time in my car.
Yeah,
so like, okay, I want a car with a sunroof, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And a good sound system.
Yeah,
but I don't care about the best TV.
Exactly.
So
I think it was more geared towards the fact that a lot of people buy shit they don't need just to buy it. I think that's what it was saying is take stock, and I think more than anything it was saying appreciate the life you're living now. Enjoy this time that we have. I mean, yes, there's a lot of bad that have come out of this, but I think if we flip it and look at it as a time to slow down and reflect and do things that we never had the time to do, or that we always said we didn't have the time to do, take advantage of it. See, there is a silver lining in it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It was very interesting.
Yes.
So if you could go back, would you change how you did things, your journey, or your mindset that it all was necessary to get where you are today and who you are today as a person?
Yeah, because if I had no challenges in my life, I would be weak. And I think we all have to, unfortunately, the collateral damage that I do regret is the damage that I caused to my family.
Right.
Throughout all of this, and the pain that I put them through. But that just shows what a great family I had, because their love for me is unconditional. And that is truly something that I've really learned to realize. So I wouldn't change what I did, but I would change the risk like that I put my family at.
Right.
Like I wish there was a way that I could have done what I did without having to involve my whole family.
Yes. As you said, the collateral damage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
For sure.
What profession or other business would you like to try? Try your hand at?
I would say film. I've done, when I came out, a film company offered to make a little podcast series on me. And it was interesting to see how film was made.
Very cool.
And I know this goes back to watching TV and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it's an interesting way to share stories, for sure.
So you'd like to try your hand at directing a film or writing or?
Yeah, directing and producing.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, maybe one day we will see a movie or a TV show out by Emily O'Brien.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Sure.
What is your favorite word?
Okay.
All right. What's your favorite curse word?
Try it.
Try it? Okay.
Yeah. I guess it's like or just try.
Try. Okay.
And that can serve you well or bad. So
Yeah.
I think when we try things, we either do it for the wrong reasons or for the right reasons.
Yeah, so it could go either way.
Yeah. But if we don't do any, if we don't act on anything, we won't achieve anything.
Very true.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite curse word?
Shit.
What sound or noise do you absolutely love?
My diesel engine.
All right. On a scale of 1 to 10, how weird would you say you are?
10.
No, not even a thought about that one. Just 10 right away.
Just 10. And like I was weird as a kid. That's why I spent a lot of time in the library. I didn't really know how to socialize, and that's part of the reason why I would drink, is because like I felt so weird and I was kind of bullied for being a little bit
different.
Off. Yeah.
That's
I use my weirdness to empower me. It's like, yeah, now I love it.
You own it. You own the weirdness.
Yes.
That's awesome. If you could have one superpower, what would that be?
To reduce phone bills.
To reduce phone bills.
Yeah. I think cell phone bills are ridiculous in Canada. I really think they are.
They are, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, the U.S. has got one up on us for that, for sure.
Yeah. And everywhere else I've traveled to, it was so cheap. I used to live in Indonesia, and it was like $5 a month.
Yeah, it's crazy. Canada just rakes us over the coals.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a burden to communicate with the people that we love. It
shouldn't. What is a passion of yours that you rarely share with people, and why not?
I would say I feel like I share pretty much everything.
Okay.
Well, not.
You're an open book, so to speak.
I've always been interested in like sex, as like weird as that sounds. Like I've always been fascinated with sex and the evolution of sex and the stigmas around sex and dating.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Who are your personal heroes?
Not in a pornographic sort of way.
Sorry?
But like in
Sorry?
Not in a pornographic sort of way. Like I'm not a porn addict or anything. But I've always been fascinated in like the differences in types of relationships that can work. And someone like me, I've like kind of been in different relationships my whole life. And I went against kind of what my parents wanted, like, and because I was dating for them, basically. I was trying to always date the person that I could bring to like family functions, and someone that had a good job and had their head on straight, or someone that my parents didn't catch me drinking with. Right. And find love with people in so many different kinds of relationships. I've dated like people that were 20 years older than me and loved them, or I've dated people that are 5 years younger than me and loved them. And I've dated more than one person at once. And so I'm like, I was fascinated with how you can go against the grain and still find joy in your life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who are your personal heroes, and why do you hold them in such high regard?
Kim Pate, Senator Kim Pate is one of my heroes.
Okay.
Yep. And also Bono from U2. Yeah.
All right.
Music activist.
What reasoning behind both of those people? Why do you hold them in such high regard?
Just the songwriting ability, the longevity in the music career, the way that they make people connect to their music, inspiration for the U2, and Kim Pate, because she's like one of the female senators that really advocates for women in prison, and there's not many people in high level politics that do this so adamantly and fearlessly as she does. Okay,
that's a good reason. Okay. Are there any tools or books that have really helped you on your journey?
Yeah, there's a book called Originals by Adam Grant that I really liked. There's also one called Give and Take by Adam Grant.
Okay.
And there's also, where is it? One. Stillness is the Key by Ryan Holiday.
All right. I'll have to mark down those 3 and check them out. Mm-hmm. What is the best advice you've ever received?
Best advice? I ever received was probably from my lawyer when he was like, Emily, if you mess this up, they're not going to let you out.
Pretty simple and to the point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't get any simpler than that.
Yeah.
Don't fuck up or you're not getting out.
Yeah.
Now, you spoke about the senator and you're in a women's prison. And so what does the word empowerment mean to you? And I've heard you throw it around a couple times in our interview here in our podcast. So what does the word empowerment mean to you?
Empowerment to me means not giving a shit about shit talkers. People that just talk shit and they don't know the context and they're just making brash statements. That used to that can have a lot of power over people. That can stop someone from achieving their goals. So when you develop a thick skin from going through a situation like this and you don't give a fuck, like you still have to be mindful of the message that you're saying and how you're delivering it.
Right.
You can't be tone deaf and just not give a shit about anything. But when it comes to like just brash negativity and aggressiveness and not really giving a fuck, it's like, okay, I don't care.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's empowerment to me. And empowerment to me is being like, yeah, I have a record. And empowerment to me is putting myself on the internet, which is going to be there for the rest of my life as someone who committed a crime, but also committed herself to creating something good.
Owning your shit.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love it. How do you define success? What does that word mean to you?
Smiling.
Smiling. All right.
We can succeed in very simple tasks and we can succeed in difficult tasks. And when something makes me smile, it means like I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think happiness is when you're like, happiness is smiling. So anything that can generate a smile is a symbol of success to me.
Success equals happiness. I mean, think about it. A smile, how much just a simple smile can change someone's day.
Yeah.
Pretty powerful.
Yeah. And I think happiness is more of like a long, it's like, it's harder you can't really achieve like full-time happiness. Like there's no point in going through life and trying to achieve that, because if you don't have sadness, we're not human. Like there's no human that hasn't had sadness. But I think doing things that make you feel good, whether that's like, I don't know, me making the Nile bars at 12:30 and doing it, or finally setting up automatic payments on my credit card. Yeah. And now your credit score's good. It's like, okay, like making little simple changes to things that bring us happiness, like short-term happiness that can contribute to longer-term fulfillment.
Right.
But I think fulfillment is happiness and sadness combined.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we didn't have the sadness and range of emotions, I mean, that makes up who we are. That makes up your character and how you deal with things, right?
Mm-hmm. But companies don't want you to be sad. Companies, we're advertised to all the time by companies. They're like, oh, no, we're supposed to be happy all the time. And that's completely not true.
No, we're not. What is your favorite quote?
This one I have. Let me think.
Okay, we can come back to that. That's okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any big projects you're currently working on or coming down the pike that you would like to share with our audience?
Yeah, so we're focusing right now on grocery expansion for Comeback Snacks. So when you have a food business, you start small, and with packaged goods, they have to go through like a set of rigorous safety tests to be suitable for at the grocery level.
Okay.
So in terms of popcorn, we're at the craft level right now, and we're in the midst of getting our first order out through a co-packer who does the packing, the sealing, and everything for us. So that way we can sell it to actual bigger chains. Because right now we just do we're small scale because of the shelf life.
Yeah.
And, just doing the branding that people can feel comfortable recognizing on a shelf and buying from a shelf. Because people are looking for a certain look and something that evokes a certain mood. And so it's just making those big changes. And also my memoir. I'm writing a memoir.
Oh. Awesome.
Yeah.
When do you expect that to be finished and out for us?
Probably 2 years, a year and a half.
2 years.
Yeah. Oh, I found my favorite quote.
Okay.
It's It's not about winning the game. It's about optimizing your outcome.
I love it. That's awesome. Amazing. How back to your popcorn, your brand. How or where can people buy it? Where is it available?
Yeah, so people can order online through the order form. And right now if we get an inquiry, it's like we communicate with the delivery or how they want to get it. It's comebacksnacks.com/shop. Or people can message me on social media if they have more questions, or they can call me. Like, I think sometimes calling people is the best way to get to know someone because you get to hear their voice and
yeah, absolutely
have just natural conversation. It's easy to think like to have a conversation with email that's like, well thought out. But I think when you're on the phone, it's more spontaneous, and that's when it's more authentic.
No, it's a little more personal.
Yeah.
Email, I find, is just very cold, I guess, for lack of a better term. It's just robotic almost.
Yeah.
If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
I think it would be ignorance is not bliss.
And there it is again.
Not bliss. Do your research.
If you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, what would that last 30 seconds sound like?
Every single person in life has done things that they regret, and every single person has done good things. Whether we break the law, we break up our marriages, we've all broken trust in one way or the next. But we've also all done things based out of love. We've all done good things that help others. And the thing that connects us as humans is the fact that we are capable of good and that we're also capable of unconditional love. And that's what keeps us together. And that's why we're all the same.
Beautiful. Do you have any advice for other women out there wanting to start up their own businesses, struggling with whether they should or not due to fear or naysayers or just plain don't know how to get started?
Yeah, so start small. What really helped me was having mentors, was accessing the right information, because there's so much information out there. I mean, even if you're trying to read books on business, there's 20 million books that are going to tell you 20 different things about marketing, about sales, about everything like that, right? So it's really finding 10 good books or 10 resources and sticking to those, because if you just go all over the place and are reading a million different things, you're going to drive yourself nuts and you're not going to know what to believe. So you're just going to have to pick a way to go and just do it and be able to pivot. And you have to do, obviously, your research, and you have to find something that is inexpensive to kind of start. So, and try to build relationships with as many people as you can and share your story and help others, because helping others is truly what drives positive growth.
Well, that's just good karma. I mean, you help people. And I find that more often than not, if you ask for help, people are more than willing to help you. More often than not, most people, they're more than willing to help out if they can. Mm-hmm. So I think it just takes that courage to ask for help, which I think a lot of people struggle with. A lot of people are scared to ask others for help.
And that was my problem too. Like, I didn't want to ask for help when it came to my addiction because I was nervous that it would make me seem weak. But also being vulnerable is okay, So
how did you overcome that, Emily? How did you get past that fear of asking for help?
I suffered the consequences of not. Yeah, for sure.
Well, thank you so much for being a guest today, Emily. It was an absolute pleasure. I appreciate you sharing a little bit of insight into your story and sharing it with everyone. It was very, very interesting to say the least.
Thank you so much for having me. It was great.
It was my pleasure.
Yeah, I loved all the questions. It was like a really different interview. Like a lot of the time people kind of ask me the same questions, and all your questions were so different and fun.
Good. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed yourself.
Yeah.
Once again, my name is Brad Welsh, host of the Empowerography podcast. My guest today was Emily O'Brien, entrepreneur, keynote speaker, and consultant. Thank you again so much for being here, Emily. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much.
Talk soon. Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at viseuphoria.ca and follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.